So today we will start the another topic from the same unit, that is cyclotron. Cyclotron. So what is cyclotron basically? So cyclotron is also one type of particle accelerator. So with the help of this particular device, we will be able to accelerate the charged particle. We will be able to accelerate the charged particle and thereby increasing the energy of the charged particle, so that this charged particle can be used to bombard any nuclear entity or any other substance. Okay, so that experiments can be studied, further experiments can be done, right? So cyclotron is nothing but device which is nothing but one kind of particle accelerator. Okay, in this particular device, if you see the principle of working of this particular device, what is the principle of operation of this particular device? So in cyclotron there exist two hollow Ds. Okay, we will see the construction of the cyclotron itself, right? So the principle of cyclotron can be explained in three terms. So the first term is that there are two hollow Ds, and in that Ds charged particles are accelerated repeatedly. Okay, charged particles are accelerated repeatedly using RF signal voltage. So there will be the charged particle, and this charged particle will be accelerated between the two Ds. These Ds are nothing but hollow type of structures. Okay, and we will have to apply the RF signal voltage across these two Ds, and therefore with the help of this RF signal the charged particle will be accelerated and they will acquire very high energy. At the same time, these charged particles will forced to move. They will be forced to move in a circular orbit within the Ds. They will be forced to move in a circular orbit within the Ds. Okay, so therefore their motion will be limited in one particular space, right? In case of linear accelerator, the charged particle was traveling along a straight line only, and therefore we require large number of cylinders. They will be arranged coaxially, and the length of those cylinders would be of the order of some kilometers. But here we are accelerating the charged particle, no doubt, with the help of RF signal generator, but this charged particle will not follow a straight line motion. They will follow a circular type of motion with the implication of some external magnetic field. We will have to deposit some external magnetic field on these Ds, and with the help of these external magnetic field, the charged particle will follow a circular type of motion, right? And in order to do this thing very efficiently, okay, in order to do this job very efficiently, what is to be done? The time required for the charged particle to travel within 1D should be equal to half of the period of the AC signal, where capital T is the period of the AC signal, that is RF signal. So the time taken by the charged particle to travel within a D, it should be equal to half of the period of the AC signal. Then only the resonance will take place, okay, and the charged particle will be accelerated successively. So based on these three principles, the cyclotron will be working. Okay, now we shall see the construction of cyclotron. Construction of cyclotron. So how this cyclotron is manufactured? So it consists of two hollow Ds. So the two hollow Ds will look like this. This is one of the D and this is another D. Okay, means it is having D type of structures. Okay, remember that it will have some thickness. Okay, but this opening, this particular end of the D will have opening, will have the opening, because at the center of these two D's there will be the source of ions. So source of ions will be placed over here, and this source of ions should travel within the D. Therefore these ends of the D are open, they are open and they are hollow. So you can imagine that you have seen the D structure in the compost box, right? So suppose there is one D and there is another D. So it will have this surface, it will have this surface, it will have the surface like this also. Okay, all these surfaces will be closed, all these surfaces will be closed, only this surface will be open, only this surface will be open, so that charge particle can move inside the D's. Okay, charge particle can move inside the D. So this is the D number 1, so this is D number 1 and this is the D number 2. Both these D's are kept like this. Okay, they are kept in front of each other. At the center there will be the source of ions. Okay, mostly we will say that there will be the source of positive ions, right? These two D's are made with the help of copper material. They are made with the help of copper material. Remember that copper is a metal, but it is a non-magnetic material. Okay, so the whatever material we have to choose for the D's fabrication, these materials should be of non-magnetic type. Okay, because remember that we are imposing some magnetic field across this particular region. So if we impose magnetic field and if this material is of magnetic type, then what will happen? This material will interact with the external magnetic field and again we will have some different kind of effects. So in order to avoid those effects, what we have to take precaution is that with whatever material we are fabricating this particular D's, these D's should be of non-magnetic type. The material should be of non-magnetic type, right? Okay, then these two D's will be connected to RF signal generator. These two D's will be connected to RF signal generator, and I have already told you that what is RF signal generator. It will generate a voltage whose frequency is of the order of radio frequency, that is 10⁻³ to 10⁹ hertz. Okay, okay, and again there will be the magnetic field. So what I will do, I will take this structure and I will put this structure into the magnetic field. So magnetic field in this case will be represented by the cross sign. Cross sign means what? The direction of the magnetic field is perpendicular to this plane of the board, but it is directed outward. It is directed outward. Okay, it is directed outward. So again this complete assembly will be enclosed in evacuated chamber. This complete assembly will be enclosed in the evacuated chamber, so that there should not be any air molecule inside the experimental setup, right? So this is how the cyclotron would look like. Okay, so this is construction of the cyclotron. Now we shall see the working. So working of the cyclotron is also very simple. You can easily understand it if you understand the motion of the charged particle in electric field and the magnetic field. So what I will do, I will consider the S is the source of ion and it will emit the charged particle whose charge is Q. Suppose they are all positively charged particle. Okay, and what we have already done, we have imposed the magnetic field, we have deposited magnetic field over here, and we have connected all these D's to a RF signal generator. So RF signal generator is nothing but one type of AC signal, whose frequency is very high. So at some point of time this D1 will be negative at negative potential and D2 will be at positive potential. So what we will consider, that once this source is emitting positively charged particle, at that instant let us assume that the D1 is at negative potential and D2 is at positive potential. Then what will happen? Because D1 is at negative potential, so this D1D will attract the charged particle, because charged particle is having positive sign and D1 is at negative potential. So they will this D1 will attract the charged particle towards itself. Okay, and the charged particle will be accelerated. Okay, charged particle will be accelerated inside the D1, right? Again remember that whatever electric field we have deposited with the help of this RF signal generator, that electric field is operative only on the surface of the D. Inside the D, the value of electric field will be 0. Inside the D, the value of electric field would be 0. So charged particle will be accelerated only up to this much distance from the center of the source towards the edge of the D. So up to this distance only the charged particle will be accelerated. Now the question is, what type of motion this charged particle will exhibit, whether it will be performing straight line motion or whether it will be performing circular type of motion. So remember that when the charged particle was emitted by this particular source, initially we may assume that the velocity of the charged particle was 0, and therefore because even if there is a magnetic field, the magnetic force acting on the charged particle would be 0. Okay, but as soon as the electric field on the d1 is attracting the charged particle toward itself, charged particle would be set into the motion of straight line. But once the charged particle would be in the motion, there will be the action of magnetic force, and that magnetic force will bend the charged particle into the circular motion. So in general, in conclusion, what we can say, charged particle will be following a circular type of motion, right? So in which direction it will follow circular type of motion? So remember that this d1 is attracting the charged particle. So this is the direction of velocity, this is the direction of magnetic field, and this will be direction of magnetic force. So what is the direction of velocity? This is the direction of velocity. Upward direction is the direction of magnetic force. So force will be in the upward direction, right? Force will be in the vertically upward direction. So the charged particle will move like this. It will move like this. So it will be accelerated towards the d, but accelerated in the form of circular motion, right? So this will this charged particle will trace a circular like path. Okay, now you see we are applying the RF signal voltage, and because of that signal voltage only the charged particle is getting accelerated. So how much energy we are providing? If Q is the amount of charge and V is the voltage of the RF signal generator, then this Q into V, this will be the amount of energy gained by the charged particle, and this amount of energy will appear as a kinetic energy of the charged particle. So kinetic energy of the charged particle is half mv square. So we will assume that during the first acceleration, V1 is the velocity acquired by the charged particle. Initially the velocity of the charged particle was 0, and now because of the acceleration, the charged particle has acquired the velocity V1. Okay, charged particle has acquired the velocity V1. So with the help of this particular formula, we can calculate the value for V1. V1 will be equal to 2 times Q into V divided by m and square root of that, right? So this will be the value for velocity V1. This will be the value for velocity V1. Okay, now this is about the electric field. This particular velocity will be acquired by the charged particle because of the electric field. But after acquiring this particular velocity, the charged particle is also moving under the action of magnetic field, and under the action of magnetic field, the charged particle will follow a circular type of path. Okay, so if I want to find out the radius of this circular type of path, what will be the value of radius? How to find out? So in order to move in a circular orbit, you need to have centripetal acceleration. So mv square divided by r. You know that velocity is v1 and the radius in this case will be suppose r1. So it will be equal to q times v1 times b, because velocity is v1, right? So from this we can get the value for r1. So r1 will be equal to, this one v1 will get cancelled. So r1 will be equal to m into v1 divided by q times b. Okay, so this will be the value for radius of the circular path travelled by the charged particle inside the d. Okay, now the charged particle is travelling with a radius r1. It is travelling, it is travelling, it is travelling. Okay, it is coming into this particular direction. So this will be the direction of the circular path. Okay, but at the same time this voltage is also changing. At the same time this voltage is also changing. So what I have to do? I have to maintain the frequency of the AC signal such that as soon as the charged particle arrives at the exit point of the d1, this d1 will be at positive potential and d2 will be at negative potential. So as soon as the charged particle performs its journey up to this particular position, I will manage the frequency of AC signal such that this d1, earlier it was at negative potential, then only it has attracted the charged particle for the acceleration. So now it will become positive, okay, and d2 which was earlier at positive potential, that will become negative. Now once d2 has become negative, what it will do? It will again attract the charged particle towards itself. So charged particle will be attracted towards itself. Okay, it will be attracted means what? It will be accelerated. It will be accelerated, and within the d it will again follow a circular path. It will again follow a circular path. So next time what will be the velocity? See, earlier this was the first acceleration. Now up to this the acceleration is constant, and now up in this particular region the charged particle is again accelerated by the d2. Okay, so what will be the velocity acquired? So velocity will be given by, see, in the first acceleration the energy acquired by the charged particle is q into v. Now next time what will be the energy acquired in the next acceleration? It will be 2 times q into v. Okay, for next acceleration the energy acquired will be 2 times q into v. We have to remember that for every kick or for every acceleration the energy acquired by the charged particle is given by q into v. So for the first acceleration the energy was q into v. In the second acceleration the energy will be gained again q into v. So earlier q into v and the next q into v. So total energy acquired will be 2 times q into v. So 2 times q into v will be equal to 2 times q into v will be equal to how much? It will be equal to the kinetic energy. That energy will be converted into the kinetic energy. So half m v square. But see, in the first acceleration what was the velocity acquired? v1. In the second acceleration what will be the velocity acquired? v2. And you can easily see that earlier it is only q into v, now it is 2 times q into v. So this v2 will be greater than v1. v2 will be always greater than v1. So what we can say, that as there is a repetitive acceleration, during each acceleration the velocity of the charged particle is increasing, and if the velocity of the charged particle is increasing again and again, its kinetic energy will also be increasing. So what I am doing, actually I am imparting energy to the charged particle again and again. For every rotation there will be the increase in the energy, so that we have to remember. Okay, so in this case we get the value for v2 as under root of 2 times 2qv divided by m. This capital V, this V is capital, that we should remember, right? Similarly v3 will be again equal to 3 into 2 times q into v divided by m, 4 times q into v divided by m. So depending on the number of rotations, the velocity of the charged particle will be more and more. But is only this quantity is increasing, only the velocity of the charged particle is increasing? Remember that when the velocity of the charged particle is v2, what is the radius? What is the radius of this circular path? Radius of circular path will be denoted by r2, and r2 will be equal to m into v2 divided by q times b. Now we already know that v2 is greater than v1. So if v2 is greater than v1, it means that r2 will be greater than r1. So the radius of circular path is also continuously go on increasing. During every rotation the velocity also increases, during every rotation the radius also increases. So the charged particle follow the path like this. Again, when the charged particle follow a semicircular path in the d2, once it reaches at this particular position at the exit point, the frequency is adjusted so that this d2 now becomes at positive potential and d1 again becomes at negative potential. So again d1 will attract the charged particle will be accelerated, it will travel in constant electric field. Okay, again it will be accelerated by d2. So again the charged particle will be travel like this, and finally what you can do, after complete rotation you can have one opening over here in the d1 or d2. Okay, and you can situate one type of negative potential. You can situate one electrode and you can apply negative potential onto that electrode. Okay, so the charged particle will be collected here. And this charged particle can be used to bombard any particular nucleus or any particular substance. Okay, so this is the way in which the cyclotron will work, right? Now what we have done up till now, we have found out the expression for the velocity during every acceleration, and we have found out what will be the radius of that circular trace traced by that particular charged particle again and again. Okay, so this will be the velocity and radius. What will be the energy acquired? What will be the maximum energy acquired by the charged particle into this particular device? Okay, so when the energy will be maximum, you can easily see when the charged particle will travel at outermost circle, here, then the velocity of the charged particle would be highest, and when the velocity of the charged particle would be highest, its kinetic energy would be highest, right? So for outermost circle, if I want to find out what is the maximum value of kinetic energy acquired by the charged particle? So kinetic energy maximum will be equal to 1 by 2 m into v maximum, v square maximum, right? So in order to find out the maximum value of kinetic energy, I need to find out the maximum value of velocity of the charged particle. And what is the expression for maximum value of velocity of the charged particle? So it will be equal to 1 by 2 m v square max, v1, v2, v3 we have already find out, okay? Right. So what I will do, I will write the expression for kinetic energy in terms of radius, right? So v square max, so instead of v square max, this particular radius equation, how it will change? It can be written as r max is equal to m into v max divided by q times b, right? So v max will be equal to q times b into r max divided by m, and we have to take the square of this, okay, because there is a v square. So I am writing the value of v square in terms of r, okay. So let us solve this. So here it will be m square, okay, here it will be m square, so 1 m will get cancelled, and on the numerator q square b square r square max divided by twice m. So this will be the expression for maximum kinetic energy acquired by the charged particle, and if all these quantities are constant, q, b and m, if all these quantities are constant, then kinetic energy will be directly proportional to the radius square, maximum radius square. So it depends on how much big d's you are making,